Welcome back to Riffs and Rasslin, where we talk about all things heavy metal and pro wrestling. I am, of course, your host, Willie. And as always, we are joined by my brother, Nick. What's up, dude?
What's going on, brother?
Oh, we have our first ever guest here on Riffs and Wrestling. We have a fellow metalhead, a pro wrestling fan, and my best friend, Eduardo. Welcome to the show, man.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Yeah, man, it should be a pretty exciting show. But before we do all that, I do want to plug our X and Instagram account. Follow us at Riffs and Wrestling on there. This isn't your grandma's podcast. We talk about pro wrestling, we talk about heavy metal, and we say a lot of fuck words. So if you like that, hit the subscribe button and join the conversation. And with all that said, Nick, I think you have a story that you want to share with us, right?
Yeah, I sure do. Last night was an epic fucking night. Bruce Dickinson was live in town at the House of Blues. And obviously, if you're listening to this podcast, you should hopefully be a metalhead. If you're not, Bruce Dickinson is the lead singer of Iron Maiden. He was out promoting his new solo album, The Mandrake Project. And it was an epic fucking show, dude. It was heavy, heavy from start to finish. Really good crowd, really good turnout. I tried to take as many pictures of Bruce as I could, but that fucking guy moves around on stage way too much to take like an actual proper photo of him. But got a couple videos. I will be posting some pictures to the X account, Riffs Rasslin. But yeah, dude, it was an epic show all around. Everything from Tears of the Dragon, Chemical Wedding, Accident at Birth, even Road to Hell played Road to Hell. The only thing that I would change is probably the last two songs of the show. I would have taken those out and put in Tattooed Millionaire and Kill Devil Hill. For whatever reason, he didn't play those songs. He played everything else but those two. So I was like, that kind of sucks. But it didn't take away from the rest of the show, though. I can tell you that it was hard, it was heavy, and it was just a killer fucking time, dude. And I probably would put that maybe top 5 shows that I've seen of all time. It was that good.
Sounds amazing, man. What did he open with?
Accident at Birth.
Damn, dude. And what did he close with?
What the hell was the name of the song? I can't remember the name of the song, but my wife and I were talking. She went with me last night, and we were talking, and it should have been either Tattooed Millionaire or Kill Devil Hill should have been the last song to close it out. But I mean, like I said, that's just me nitpicking. But all in all,
Right.
it was such a fucking good show, man. Such a great time. Bruce Dickinson never fails to bring the energy live, dude, and it was fucking epic. Yeah, dude. I highly recommend if you have the opportunity to go see Dickinson in your area on this tour, go. Don't fucking miss out. Go.
Now, this, for those of them that don't know, right, this was in Vegas. And how was the Vegas crowd?
They were loud, bro. There was a lot of people on the floor. There was a lot of people in the balcony. I wouldn't say that it was sold out, but it's hard to sell out a show here in Vegas anyway, when it's hard rock, heavy metal. But it was a solid crowd. The ones that did show up were the true fans, the ones that, no Bruce Dickinson, no Iron Maiden and all that. And it was a decent turnout, man. It was a lot of fun.
I love it, man. And I'm looking forward to posting everything. And, hopefully, if any of you go see him, you all can share your story too.
Yeah, and don't forget too, ladies and gentlemen, that I will be attending Pantera this coming Friday, whatever date that is. What fucking date is that? August 29th, I think it is. Whatever it is. I'll be attending Pantera, and I'll be dropping some pictures and shit on the X account as well. And I know, Willie, you're going to Pantera in like, what, a week and a half or so?
That's right. You'll be seeing him in Vegas. I'll be seeing him here in Dallas, Texas. And I'm curious to see what the different vibe is, what your experience is compared to mine.
Yeah, for sure. The one song that I'm really hoping that they play, and I highly doubt they will, is Yesterday Don't Mean Shit.
Man.
You have all the other, obviously, songs that they're going to play. You already know they're going to play it, but it would be nice if they stuck Yesterday Don't Mean Shit in there, because that's such a fucking, like, heavy song, and it'd be a fun song to see live, too.
That would be fun. But yeah, man, thanks for sharing your story.
Hell yeah, dude. Bruce Dickinson, man. Hell of a show.
Hell yeah. Well, without further ado, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this episode. So, 1998, surprisingly, looking things up, this was a powerhouse of a year for power metal. So many great power metal albums came out this year. And I thought it would be a perfect episode to kind of do like a battle of the albums type of episode. We're going to rank some albums. So I picked 5 albums from this decade that we are going to rank. We're going to start with 2 albums at a time. We're going to go through each album as a whole. We're going to pick our best, our worst songs, what we think about the albums. And then we're each going to vote on which album that we think is the better one. Now, the album with the most votes will move on to the next round, where we'll introduce a brand new album and we'll repeat the process throughout all 5 albums until we find a winner. And the winner is, of course, going to be the best album of that year.
We are all these albums came out in '98, correct?
They did.
Are we gonna say what albums we're picking, or are we just gonna like do it as we go along?
So we're gonna start with 2 albums at a time. I'm gonna introduce each album, and then as I'm introducing each album, we're gonna go through that specific album first, and then those first 2 albums, we're gonna, at the end of talking about it, we're gonna vote. Each of us is gonna vote which album that we like the best.
Okay.
And then the album with the most votes out of all 3 of us will move on to the next round.
Let's do it.
Make sense, everyone?
Yep.
Cool. Well, let's start with the mighty Halloween and their album Better Than Raw. Let's go with you, Nick. What's your overall opinion of this album?
This album sucks. It really does.
Cool.
It's not. It's power metal in some sense, but a lot of it sounds more progressive, I guess you could say. It sounds like it definitely came out in '98. It has that '98 vibe to it. I was not a fan of this album whatsoever. The first 2 singles they put out, Hey Lord and I Can, exactly. Yeah, those are not good songs, dude, at all. To me, Halloween lost a lot of steam when Kiske left the band and Andy came in and took over vocal duties. They did put out some good songs, don't get me wrong. They put out some good albums, but this one in particular, I was just not a fan of this album, dude.
Yeah, makes sense.
Not at all.
Eduardo, what's your overall opinion on this album?
I actually can have the same opinion, actually. I wasn't sure if I was gonna be like the unpopular vote, I guess, but yeah, what I wanted to say is, like, out of all these bands and all these albums that came out this year, of course it's all power metal, but I feel like each album has kind of they're separate artists and stuff too as well, but I feel like every artist, of course, has their own like tone and feel to them. So I feel like every album is different for like their own reason.
I agree.
But yeah, definitely not my. I'd probably say this is like the least favorite out of all the 5 that we're ranking.
Well, spoilers. All right, got it. This was a very fun homework assignment for me, going through these 5 albums and listening to them from top to bottom. And I thought this album was better than I thought it was going to be. I wouldn't say it was a hit, but I thought overall it was decent for what it was. It's Halloween, right? You get the riffs, you get the solos, you get what Halloween is portraying to be, right? Would I say it's their best album? Fuck no. But it is what it is. But Nick, let's go on. If you had to pick the best song off of this album, which one would you pick?
Oh my god. That's if I had to pick a song on this album, dude. I don't know, dude. I really can't pick a song on this album. It was just this album didn't do anything for me, dude.
Do you have a song where you're like, I will never listen to that ever again?
Besides all 11 songs on there,
yeah.
I'd say pick any of the 2 that were released as singles. Either one of those, I'd pick and I would never listen to those again.
Okay. That's fair. I love the
and I'm a Halloween fan, by the way. I love Halloween. Seen them twice.
I know.
So I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a Halloween fan, but yeah, this album is just not it.
Okay. What about you, Ardo? What's your best song?
Yeah, it was hard for me to, I guess, gravitate to a specific song too.
Yeah.
If I had to pick one though, I'd probably say "Falling Higher." Would
Okay.
be probably the best one.
I have to second you on that one. My favorite song on the album is "Falling Higher." I thought that song was a banger. If
Damn,
there's one song on this album that I
that's
would go
good.
back
Yeah,
and yeah, that's the only song I think on this album I would actually save and go back and
yeah,
listen to it. Yeah.
yeah. Same for me.
And then what's your worst favorite, Wardo?
Uh, I mean
Do you
that
have one?
I don't know. I don't think I have one. Yeah, they're like from there on, it's you can kind of just pick whichever
Yeah.
one. To be honest.
Yeah. My worst song on this album is Time. That song was the same. It's a 5 minute and 43 minute song, and it did nothing. Nothing changed in that song. It was
Mm.
the same piano throughout the entire song, and I don't even know what the fuck he was talking about in the whole fucking song. But yeah, I think that song is the worst song.
Mm.
I want my
Any
time back for listening to that one.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Any one of you two have anything else you want to add to this album?
No.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty good on this
All right. Sounds great. So that was our first album from 1998. That
We're
was
off to a great start.
that was Halloween Better Than Raw. We'll move on to our second album, which we are going to compare against Halloween and vote which album is the better album. And our second album is going to be none other than Iced Earth, Something Wicked This Way Comes. Let's go with you, Eduardo. Let's go with you first on this one. What's your overall opinion of this album?
Um, I like it a lot better than Halloween's album. Um, I think it's like a good album overall, but I think it's to me it's kind of like half good, half bad to be honest. Like I'd say like half the songs I really enjoy and like the other half not too much, I guess.
Okay, that makes sense. What about you, Nick?
I think that this album is a banger, especially when you're comparing it to Halloween's. My only issue is, can we really say that Iced Earth is power metal though?
Well, they're categorized as power metal, and a lot of people have ranked them as power metal, specifically in this year. That's why they're on this list. But yeah, I agree what you're getting at though.
Because I mean, the riffs on any Iced Earth album really are kind of more thrashy,
Yeah,
if I
I
could say
agree.
that.
Hmm.
And plus, Matt Barlow, the vocalist of the time at this for this album, I don't consider him a power metal vocalist
Mm.
by any stretch. Um, I prefer my Iced Earth is actually Tim the Ripper Owens. I liked that version of Iced Earth. I just like Ripper Owens' voice, and I think he's like he doesn't get enough credit for being such a badass vocalist. But this album in particular, I did enjoy this album, and putting this album up against Halloween, my opinion, definitely kicks the hell out of Halloween's album. But I mean, Watching Over Me is a song that everybody knows. You know, if you're a metal fan, you know Watching Over Me. If you're a Nice Earth fan, you know Watching Over Me. But yeah, my opinion is two thumbs up for this album. It is a great album.
Yes, I agree. I think this album really kicked ass. I think this album definitely put Iced Earth on the map because they had to break free from so many bands at the same time, and I think they really nailed it with this album. Um, Start to finish, it was pretty fun to listen to. There was it's hard to say if I had any songs that were boring. There definitely were songs that I would skip over, but overall, I think this album really hit. Um, so let's go back to you, Eduardo. What's your best favorite song on this album?
Uh, it's kind of like one of their slower songs on the album, but I'm gonna go with Melancholy actually.
Okay, okay. What about you, Nick?
For me, I like Disciples of the Lie a lot. I also liked My Own Savior,
Hmm.
and of course, Watching Over Me as well. But if
Yeah.
I had to pick one in particular song, it would probably come down between My Own Savior and Disciples of the Lie, and between those two, I would probably pick My Own Savior.
Really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, that's a damn good song. I think Disciples of the Lie is a very, very strong fucking song.
Yes.
Especially putting it number 3, I think was a great choice. It just leads you back in to
Mm-hmm.
this album.
Yep.
Um, for me, my favorite song, I agree with Eduardo. Actually, Melancholy actually hits a little bit of my soft spot. As a guitarist, I really appreciate the melody of this song, and I think that's probably the main reason why I picked this as my favorite.
Mm-hmm. Makes
But
sense.
yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of songs on this album that I could have picked as my favorite. Um, let's go ahead with our worst song. Let's start with you, Nick, on the worst song.
Uh, for me, as best as I can remember, because it's been a while since I've heard this album from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not a fan of particularly long songs.
Yeah.
The Coming Curse is a good song, just a little too long in my opinion, and that's the only reason why I'm gonna pick it as my least favorite. Not because
Okay.
it's a bad song, not because it's just too long for my taste. So that's
Yeah.
the only reason why I'm picking that song.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. How about you, Eduardo? What's your least favorite?
Um, yeah, I'm actually gonna pick the same one. Like this one's like harder to really pick. Like there's no, like you said, there's no like really bad song. So like if I had to pick one, I'd choose that one too. But there's like no
Yeah.
crazy particular reason why.
We didn't get your opinion on why Melancholy was your favorite song. Is there something specifically about it that you liked?
Yeah, that like it's kind of like what you were talking about. It's like I said, I know it's like a slower paced song, but for some reason when it comes to power metal, like I kind of like that type of feel to it for some reason.
Okay.
Um, so like I don't know, it just sounds really great.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. My least favorite, I was torn, not because they're bad or anything, but I was torn between Blessed Are You, because it was more of a slower song. It didn't really do much for me, which I would have to say now that would probably be my least favorite. But did any one of you catch on the song Stand Alone, track 5 on this record? There's the second main riff in this song is almost identical to Blacken.
Is it
Anybody
really?
Yeah,
catch
yeah,
that?
no, I did catch that actually. Yeah, I was like, hold on, this is kind of crazy.
I'd have to go back and re-listen to
Yeah,
that
when I
song
listened to it.
because I
And
don't remember that.
I almost picked that as my worst song because I got fucking irritated that it was so similar
Yeah,
Hmm.
to
it was actually
Blacken.
kind of scary. I was like, hold on, what am I listening to? I had to
Yeah,
like double check. I was like, hold
yeah.
on.
For those of you that have not heard this
That
song,
was
go
crazy.
back and listen to it. And if you think it sounds like Blacken, leave a comment because
Mm.
I think it does.
Can we just talk for a second and just how badass John Schaefer is as a guitarist and a songwriter?
Dude,
I mean, this guy is the fucking brains behind Iced Earth, and if you don't like him because of his politics, you're just a fucking dumbass.
yeah.
Because what this dude brings to the metal community, as far as his guitar playing,
Yep.
his songwriting, just everything, dude. Like this dude is fucking amazing. I don't think he gets enough credit in the metal community by any standards, dude, by anyone.
Nope. I seen Ice Turf once back in 2013, 2014, and they were fucking incredible live. They were
I've
so
seen
fun.
Yeah, I've seen Iced Earth twice. I saw them once with Ripper as their vocalist, and I've seen
Nice.
them again with the last guy that they had.
Yeah.
And both times were really fucking good, dude. And they're a fun live band too. And the
Yeah.
way that Schaefer writes his riffs and how like chugging and like heavy the song sounds, it sounds even better live, dude. So anybody who
Yeah.
haven't checked out Ice Earth live, they really need to.
Yeah, and I just really hope that they come back together, I really hope that, all that, if you don't know, then you don't know. If you know, then you fucking know. But I hope they come back together and create some new shit.
It'd be nice to have them come back and fucking bring Ripper back into the fold, man.
That'll be fun. That'll be fun.
Dude,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
one of
Ripper is underrated too on a fucking power metal vocalist, dude. I would rank him up there in the top 5 easily.
Yep. Same.
Easy.
Yeah, that's one of the bands like I haven't seen yet either, so I would love for them to come
Yeah,
back
Ice Earth
around.
is definitely worth it, dude.
All right. Well, the time has gone. The time has come, anyways, to pick our favorite album between these two.
Well, that one's not a hard one now, is it?
uh, Nick, what you got?
Oh, definitely Ice Earth. Something Wicked This Way Comes, I think, blows the hell out of Halloween's album from 1998, dude.
Eduardo?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with
Yep.
Ice Earth.
It will be a 3-0. Sorry, Halloween, but Ice Earth blew you out of the water this year.
Yep, they sure did. And, they did it to themselves, dude. Halloween, again, it sounded more progressive in ways, and it definitely sounded like a shit came out from 1998. So it's like, Something
Yep.
Wicked is definitely the better album.
Yep. I agree. All right, we are going to keep Iced Earth, Something Wicked This Way Comes in our minds as we move on to our third album, which we are going to compare to this Iced Earth album. So our third album we are going to bring up is none other than Ed Guy Vain Glory Opera. Eduardo, start with you on this one. Overall opinion on Ed Guy's Vain Glory Opera album.
I think it's great. Um, Definitely like one of their best albums for sure. One of my favorite albums for sure as well. I think every song on here honestly is really good. Like, yeah, I don't think you can really pick a bad song out of the whole thing.
I love it. Yeah. What about you, Nick?
I agree. This is a really strong album. I've seen Ed Guy live in the past too, and they were fucking amazing. As a matter of fact, and this is talking about one of the other bands that we got coming up in this show, but I saw Ed Guy open for Hammerfall, and we were so taken back by Ed Guy of how good they were that we literally walked out when Hammerfall was playing. It's like,
Yeah.
that fucking sucks, but it happened. But since then, we've gone and seen Hammerfall and stayed for the show. But it was when that album Hearts on Fire, that whole song was on that. It was just shit and
Yeah.
So putting Ed Guy up against them in that setting, I think Ed Guy was the better performer that night. But yeah, definitely this band kicks ass. Tobias again is a fucking mastermind when it comes to writing songs. The whole operatic feel to it. He's even got his side projects and whatnot. I agree that this album is a really good album, definitely for sure.
Yeah, this album kicked ass from start to finish. It was heavy when it needed to be heavy. It was slow when it needed to be slow. This album was really exciting to listen to, and it was really fun to get through. It went through like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
I put the album on, and next thing I know, it was over, and I'm like, where the fuck did the time go? It's a 50-minute album too. It's nearly
Mm-hmm.
an hour, and I don't even know what I did during that fucking hour.
Yep.
This album really kicked ass. So, jump back to you, Eduardo. What's your favorite song on the album?
I'll have to go with Vainglory Opera.
Okay.
I think it has a little bit of everything in there.
Yeah, that's a solid choice. What about you, Nick?
For me, Until We Rise Again was a fun song to listen to. I mean, every song on this album is fun to listen to, but something about that song just like stuck out to me more than some of the others.
Okay.
So I definitely got to go with, I think, Until You Rise Again.
I love it. This is the first album so far where we've all differed. My favorite on this album is actually How Many Miles. I thought that song was really fun to listen to. So I mean, I love doing these type of things because you never know when we're gonna differ, and when we do, we all know each other so well. So we're like, wow, I would not have expected that, but here we are.
Right.
Pretty
And
cool.
for the audience out there too, we talked about the bands that we were going to do in this, but we didn't share notes. We didn't compare. We didn't like rehearse any of this. So you're getting like real reactions in live time as we're doing them here. So that's, if we're like, oh shit, well, that surprises me. Yeah. We didn't talk about this ahead of time. That's, I think, what makes it fun too.
I agree. But Eduardo, what's your least favorite, bro?
I honestly don't have one. like I said, I think every
Really?
song is good. Like there's no song that I think I'd skip over on this album, honestly.
So this is an album that you would tattoo onto your back, huh?
Damn, that's some
I
dedication right
mean,
there.
I don't want to go that far, but like I said, I can listen to the song like anytime, and like I said, I wouldn't skip a song from it.
I mean, I think if an album does that for you, it's definitely a winner. That's for sure. What about you, Nick? Do you have a song that you don't like?
I'm gonna screw up the timeline all of a sudden, and I'm gonna flip it over to you first before I tell mine because I want to see if we're similar. What's your least favorite?
My least favorite is track 9, Tomorrow.
Okay, so I was gonna be between Tomorrow and I believe it's No More Foolin' was the other one. Those two are like, yeah, I could have done without them. It's not saying
Yeah,
again, just like Iced Earth. It's not saying that
yeah,
it's a bad song. It's just
right.
out of all the other ones, I can
Yes.
take it or leave it.
Yeah,
Um, No More Fooling. I was gonna
it's
bring
my
that
song.
song up actually. That main riff in that fucking song is fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That main riff is not a power metal riff. That main riff belongs in like a black and thrash, dude. It was fucking raw and heavy. That was a damn good riff.
And it's funny that you say that too, because when it comes to most power metal, they all have the same formula, right? They all have, the very fast drumming, the very fast guitar playing, and
Power
they all,
chords.
yeah, exactly, and they all follow the same uh, mathematical system, pretty much. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
that's what I don't like about most power metal is that it sounds just like other power metal. You know what I mean? You could
Mm,
take out, this band name and put in this band name, and it's the same shit.
right.
Really.
Mm.
So that's why I like bands like Ed Guy because you get a little bit more of a different feel with the songs and with the band. It's not just the same bah, 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 you know what I mean?
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, it's not that I don't like that. It's just every power metal band has that same flow.
Hmm.
So it's nice to hear something different in the power metal genre. You know what I mean?
I completely agree. Yeah, Ed Guy is different, man. Just the way they play, the way they put things together. It's not your typical power metal. They really tell a story in their music alone, and I think they're kind of unique of what they do.
And Tobias too, the singer of Ed Guy, the creator of it. He's got his side project too, Avantasia. And for anybody out there who hasn't checked out Avantasia, I think you're doing yourself a disservice by not listening to them too. He's got different vocalists and different musicians from other bands that he brings in. It's a whole operatic feel. Like every album is a story,
Yep.
And Tobias, just like when we were talking about John Shaver from Ice Earth, I think Tobias is very gifted when it comes to songwriting and the way that a song gets put together and
Right.
album from start to finish. I think he's pretty damn smart, man.
Yep. Yep. I agree. Um, Anything else you want to add to this album, Eduardo?
Nah, I think you guys pretty much nailed it.
All right. Well, I guess the time has come, you guys. Don't forget about, we had Iced Earth, Something Wicked. This Way Comes. We're going to compare that to Ed Guy's Vain Glory opera album. Um, let's go with you, Nick. If you had a vote on which one you think is the better album, you personally, what's your vote?
Man, I hope this was going to come up. One of these two albums was going to come up against some of the other ones because this is tough to pick which one is the better albums out of these two. Um, for me personally, because of what I like and what I look forward to, um, I'm probably going to pick Iced Earth. And again, I don't know if I would personally consider them power metal. But for the sake of the show and for the argument, I think I might have to go with Iced Earth on this one.
Interesting. Very interesting. How about you, Eduardo?
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I'm gonna go with Ed Guy's album for sure. It just
Okay.
has that more. Like I said, I guess it's contrary to what Nick said. I guess since it is more of a power metal kind of vote thing. I'm gonna go with
Yeah.
Ed Guy for sure.
Okay. Okay. Oh man, looks like it's up to me to break the tie, huh? You know, going through each album and hearing what you all had to say. Me personally, I think I had, oh man, this is a really, really tough
That's what I'm saying. I wish that these
decision.
albums went up against some of the other ones.
Really, really tough. Um, I'm gonna have to say I'm gonna have to say Ed Guy as well.
And I'm okay with that. I am.
Mm.
I am. I think Ed Guy for me was more fun start to finish. If it wasn't for Iced Earth copying the riff from Blacken, maybe Iced Earth would have won, but not at this time.
I think what Eduardo said too makes a lot of sense of how I was saying that I don't know if I would classify Iced Earth as power metal, and because this is a power metal, you
Yeah,
know, show topic, it makes sense to pick Ed Guy over Iced Earth. But it's just me personally, musically, I like Iced Earth a
yeah.
little bit better. That's all. But I mean, they're
No,
both great albums.
nothing
Yeah,
wrong with
yeah.
that. All right. Well, we have a new album in the lead. Our album in the lead is Vain Glory Opera. We do have two more albums to go head and head. Before we do that, just want to say please follow us on X. Please follow us on Instagram at Riffs and Rasslin. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel and you're watching it on YouTube right now, what are you doing? Subscribe now. It'd be great. We all love you. Some of you. It would be
Yeah.
great. Thank you. So let's move on to our next album. We're going to compare Vain Glory Opera, Edguy in the lead, to Hammerfall, Legacy of Kings. Now, this album is a very strong album. Eduardo, what's your thought about this album?
Yeah, it's like you said, it's a very strong album as well. Of course, very power metal. I think it's good. I think I'm gonna go with like every song is good in this album too.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. What about you, Nick?
Yeah, I would agree that this is a strong album. I don't know if it's their best album that they've ever done, but it definitely is a strong album for Hammerfall to release. But if you're putting this album up against Ed Guy, which is what we're doing, I don't know how this album stacks up to Ed Guy. And again, Hammerfall is the type of power metal band that I enjoy listening to because it's not just the same like all
Right.
the fucking power metal songs that we talked about earlier are. So I
Yes.
do appreciate that from them. But yeah, I agree. This is a really good album. Better than Halloween, yes, for sure. I really can't find any holes in this album. But yeah, definitely a very strong album from Hammerfall.
I love it. Yes, it is. I completely agree. I think this album kicks fucking ass. Start to finish, this album was very exciting to listen to. It kept your heart rate going. I think there's a couple slow songs on this album, but like every power metal band, you have to have a couple ballads, and that's exactly what they did. Now, it's very interesting that this is going up against Ed Guy, Nick, because what you just said previously, you saw both of these bands on the same tour on the same night. And there was one band in particular that was better than the other one, and that was Ed Guy. So that's very interesting that these two came up at the same time.
It is. That's why I was saying that earlier. And again, the only reason why is because they were touring that album with Hearts on Fire. That album was not a good album at all. That song was not a good song. So it was just like the vibe overall of that night. Ed Guy took it by a mile. Um, but if we're going to compare the two albums, which we are going to in a second, I might have an interesting take on that
Okay. Okay.
for sure.
Well, let's jump to you, Eduardo. You know, you said this album was pretty solid. I'm curious to see what your favorite song on this album was.
I think this one honestly was the one that I had the most trouble picking a favorite one because, like I said, I think they're all really, really strong songs.
Yeah.
Um, but if I had to pick one, I'm gonna go with "Let the Hammer Fall."
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I mean that's a banger song. Um I was not expecting that.
Yeah,
That's a good pick.
it's hard. You can pick like any one of these, honestly.
Yeah, you really can. What about you,
At
Nick?
least for
Favorite
me.
song?
I think the first three songs, "Heeding the Call," "Legacy of Kings," "Let the Hammer Fall," I think are really great, like three songs to start off an album with. For me personally, it comes down to those three songs in particular, and out of those three, I probably would have to pick oh my god, dude, it comes out between Heeding the Call and Legacy of Kings for me. And it might be Heeding the Call, to be honest with you. I think it's a strong opener for an album.
That is the perfect opener to start an album, especially for Hammerfall.
Yes.
That song is probably what Hammerfall is. If you had to pick a song for Hammerfall, there are very many songs that you can pull up and be like, this is Hammerfall. But I think that is a very strong pick that you can choose for Hammerfall. And to start off the record with that song, I think is a great choice, and great choice on your pick for the best song.
What about you? What do you think is the best song?
I have to go a little bit lower, a little bit more down. Track 8, Stronger Than All, is actually my personal favorite. I thought that was a very groovy song, very fun song, and it was easy to listen to. And for me, it's memorable in my brain. Don't know why, but my brain says I like it, so I like it. But let's go back to you, Nick, real quick. And what's your least favorite on this album?
This one I kind of struggle with because the Pretty Maids cover back to back. I'm not a particular fan of that song. But should I pick it because it's a cover? You know what I mean? Like that may be a like a cop out, a cheap way out. Dreamland was okay. I don't think it was strong as some of the other songs.
Yeah.
But I probably would have to go with either Dreamland or Back to Back. And out of those two, maybe Back to Back. I know it's a cover, it's a cop out, but
okay,
that probably would be the one that I would go to.
Interesting. Okay. How about you, Eduardo? What's your least favorite?
I'm just gonna follow with what I said on Edgar. Like I don't have a bad song on this album.
No.
Like I said, I'd listen to the whole thing as well.
So you're getting 2 tattoos this week, huh? All right.
One on each cheek. All right.
Yep. Which one are you getting on your left and right cheek, Eduardo?
Go hammer fist on my left one, and fucking the word Ed on my.
This podcast made a turn, didn't it?
Looks like I'm clipping that one. All right, so guess we're gonna shoot it back to me. Kind of what Nick was saying. Just because it was a cover, I don't want to pick that song, right? And I probably won't. But that was probably my second least favorite. Not because it's bad, but because I'm like, it's a cover song. You have to pick one song on the album that's bad, so might as well be the fucking cover, right? But no, I think Remember Yesterday might be my least. It's a good song, don't get me wrong, but it's a slower song. It's
Actually, I really like that song, honestly.
Sorry, Eduardo.
Like I said, I really like my power metal ballads, and
you do.
For some reason,
you do.
I just gravitate to that song for some reason.
It's not a bad song. It's really not. But compared to everything else, I would probably pick other songs to go back to. But that's just me. It's like I said, this podcast is very interesting because we all have different picks, which is very fun. Because if we all had the same picks, it wouldn't be so fun. So
right.
All right, Nick, you have anything else you want to add to this album?
Not necessarily. Everything that I wanted to say has pretty much been said. It was a strong album, a good release from Hammerfall, and overall solid.
What about you, Ardo?
Yeah. So like I said, it's a great album, start to finish. Like I said, to me, every song is really good, so I really like it.
I'm gonna I might be the one and only person here, but I think Legacy of Kings is my personal favorite Hammerfall album of all time.
I can see why.
Yep.
For sure.
This is probably the album I go back to for Hammerfall.
Yeah, they definitely had some albums that had some bangers and some misses for sure. Yep. And I think this one was solid all the way through, like overall, for the most part.
Well, it's voting time. We have Ed Guy's Vain Glory Opera, which we have previously talked about, compared to Hammerfall Legacy of the Kings. We all have to pick one. Eduardo, let's jump to you. What are you picking?
I was kind of hoping this would be kind of like the final two albums that would kind of battle it out. And I've been thinking about it kind of all day, to be honest, on like which of these two They're my favorite ones. And I lean slightly to Edguy, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
I just overall the feel of that album to me is stronger. And then even if I had to pick between like which one am I gonna listen to, I'd pick Edguy.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. What about you, Nick?
Man, this is a tough one. Um, as I really like me some Hammerfall and I really like me some Ed Guy. It took me a while to get into power metal. You know, out of all the subgenres of metal, power metal was the one that really had to like I had to like inch my way into because at first I'm like, well, this shit's way too, you know, like high pitched, you know, the vocals and shit. And then once I got in more into power metal and I started to understand it, I had an appreciation for, you know, the style. This is so hard, dude, between these two albums, but I might just go Hammerfall on this one.
Interesting. So we have a split once again.
Mm-hmm.
Eduardo picked Ed Guy, Vain Glory Opera. Nick has picked Hammerfall, Legacy of Kings. And it's very interesting that these two have gone head to head because both bands, this is their second album.
Yep.
Both bands, their first album came out in 1997. So they've been head to head for 2 years now.
Yep.
Very, very interesting. And yeah, Nick, what you said, not very many people and not very many metalheads like power metal.
Right.
That's for the reasons that you just said. The high pitched voice, it's over the top, it's dramatic. Why, for both of you, before I pick my vote and we settle this, for both of you, question: why don't many metalheads like power metal?
Eduardo, you can say it first.
Um, I'd probably say what kind of like what you said is probably just too over the top for a lot of people. I guess Metalhead's kind of like the heavier, faster, maybe like like the more grungier kind of vocal
Right.
style, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure it's probably mainly because of like the high pitched vocals, and then just the kind
Right.
of the style is a little bit different. But
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, for one, like I love power metal though. For me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I
you Nick.
think the reason why some metalheads don't like the genre of power metal is because of what we said. You know, the high pitched vocals. But I think a lot of it has to do too with the theme of power metal, and that's going to go into the next band that we're going to talk about. I don't think a lot of metalheads can get behind that type of theme. You know, it's very fantasy. You know, it's very outlandish. It's very over the top as far as the theme elements of these albums are, and I think a lot of them see it kind of cheesy too. You know what I mean? Like especially Manowar. You know what I mean?
Sounds-
Manowar is cheesy as fuck. Are they good? Yes, but they're cheesy as fuck. You know what I mean? But I think that has a lot to do with it as well of why some metalheads don't gravitate towards power metal is because it is kind of cheesy. You know,
Yep.
the theme.
Yep.
That's a good point.
My wife she likes metal. She likes her corn. She likes her real like deep sounding tones. And usually, if you think about power metal, you would think women would love it. My wife fucking hates it.
Mhm.
She can't stand it. Kind of what you said, Nick. It's not or maybe Eduardo, you said it. It was not masculine. It's not masculine enough for her, which is it's a very interesting take.
That's,
Yeah.
honestly,
Very
that's really
interesting take.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think Nick kind of, if also if you really had to pick, probably a good enough reason, and I think is what Nick said too, like the themes I think is very important. Speaking of like Blind Guardian, which is like the next album we're talking about, it is very like fantasy, and if you're not kind of into that type of genre, then you probably
Mm-hmm.
just won't like it.
I think power metal is the biggest subgenre in metal. I don't even compare the core shit. The core shit can stay the fuck out of these conversations. You can go
Whoa,
back
whoa,
and
whoa,
look
whoa,
at
whoa.
past clips when we talked about it. I don't give a fuck. If you take the core element out of the metal community, power metal, I think, is the hardest one to get into. Overall, for me, I know for me it was. It was the hardest subgenre of metal to get into, like fully. You know, I was already invested in thrash. Thrash was always my favorite style. Then death, then black. You know, but power, it really took me a while to get behind power metal. Like I couldn't even listen to Queensryche for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? Like that's how like, oh my god, just shut the fuck up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I evolved in my listening habits and my listening taste that I was like, okay, I can actually enjoy this and get into it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's a very 50-50 subgenre for people to get behind for sure.
It is, and I want to encourage you all, if you like power metal, let us know. If you don't like it, let us know, because it is a very different type of metal all around. And once you're into it and you understand it, it's a very fun type of metal. So take it
Right.
for
Eduardo,
what
would
it's
you
worth.
say that power metal is your favorite subgenre of metal?
Uh, yeah, honestly, yeah, yeah, I would say that. And which is kind of, I don't know if this is kind of like a weird take or a hot take. I don't know. I feel like just from what I hear, other people like, let's say like non-metalhead people, um, that just believe like all this music is just people screaming at them. I feel
Right.
like I get like the high-pitched voice singing, but like I feel like when it comes to just straight up listening to songs, I guess in just metal in general, I think power metal would be kind of like the easiest to understand, like vocally, lyrically.
Mm-hmm. I can see that.
So it is kind of weird how that would be like the hardest one to kind of get into when I feel like it'd be kind of the easier one to kind of ease
Mm-hmm.
people into maybe. I don't know.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Well, time has come. We are going to vote.
Wait, we voted. You didn't vote yet.
Oh, you guys
Oh
did
yeah,
vote.
yeah.
That's right. I
Yeah,
was
we're
gonna be a
split down the middle.
tiebreaker.
Mm-hmm.
So Eduardo picked Ed Guy, Bane Glory Opera, and Nick, you picked Hammerfall, Legacy of Kings.
Yes.
I'm gonna be the tiebreaker here, and I'm gonna have to say Hammerfall is the better album. For me, I think Hammerfall was more in line of what power metal should be. Not saying Ed Guy is not. I think Ed Guy is a strong fucking album, right? But just overall, I think Hammerfall's album flowed. Each song flowed one after the other, and it was a better flow for me. That's why
Mm-hmm.
I picked this album.
Right. I can definitely see that. I mean, again, both albums are good too. It's just like when we had Ed Guy and fucking Iced Earth, you know what I mean? Or whatever the fuck it was up
Yeah.
against Iced Earth. Um, it's like it's not like you're picking the bad album. It's like, you know, it's so hard to choose, between the two. But I think,
Yep.
we all have our choices. We all have our preferences. But I mean, you can't go wrong with either album.
No, you can't.
I think with these two in particular, like kind of going back to like what we are talking about, like genre wise, uh, I feel like Ed Guy's album has like kind of specific feel genre wise to it, and then so does this Hammerfall one too.
Yeah.
So I think it kind of also just kind of falls into like whatever kind of genre you kind of just feel closer to or just kind of like better
Yeah.
maybe. I don't know.
Agreed.
Well, it's time to move on to our final album. In the lead, we have Hammerfall, Legacy of Kings. We're going to jump on to our final album of 1998, the final power metal that we will be talking about today, and that is Blind Guardian, Nightfall in Middle Earth. Now, of course, this is a concept album based on J.R.R. Tolkien's The Silmarillion, and this album is a very long album. It is 22 tracks in total. However, half of the tracks are spoken word or they're interlude to the other songs that are coming after it. So, in actuality, cut that in half. That's your main title list, right? So Blind Guardian, guys, Nightfall in Middle Earth. Start with you, Nick. Overall opinion.
You guys are gonna fucking hate me, and I don't give a shit. I'm not a Blind Guardian fan at all.
Okay.
I really can't get behind. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're good musicians, good vocalists, but I never cared for Blind Guardian. They just don't do anything for me personally. And it's not that I have a thing against nerds who like fucking Tolkien shit, you know what I mean? I watched Lord of the Rings too. I was a fan of that shit, but the band just never did anything for me. It's not my style of power metal, you know what I mean? It's not something I would go out of my way to listen to, you know, I never have. But yeah, that's just my personal take on it. Is I just never was a Blind Guardian fan.
Okay, that's perfectly fair. I get it. What about you, Ardo?
Yeah, I knew that was coming. I was like, based off like, I mean, knowing Nick personally, and then like, just everything that we've talked about so far on the podcast, I figured you'd probably not like this album at all. uh, what's it called? But I mean, like I said, it kind of goes back to what we're talking about, like themes, and I mean, this particular album specific too is very like, Lord of the Rings uh esque. So like, if you're not into that at all, then you're
Mhm.
not gonna like this album at all.
Yeah.
Um, and then I mean, I'd say like out of all these, I mean, kind of like how we talked about too with like Ice Earth, like, do you consider them power metal or not? Like, I feel like Blind Guardian's style is also, I feel like it's also a little bit different from like Hammer Falls and like Eddie Guys and stuff like that, or like Halloween too. So, but as a fan of Tolkien and Lord of the Rings and everything, like I like the album. There's a few songs that I probably wouldn't really listen to myself either.
Yeah.
But it's not a bad album. Like I still like it.
Yeah. Um, I personally fucking love this album. This is my shit. I love Blind Guardian in general. I love the storytelling that they have, not just because I am a diehard Lord of the Rings fan, but because I also love how Blind Guardian puts their music together. So for me, I think this album is a fucking banger. I think you couldn't have gone wrong. I think this is probably the perfect Blind Guardian album. Not just because I am a Tolkien fan. I think just they told a story in this album that is very hard to do, and they succeeded at it. So for me, I personally love this album.
That spoken word shit in this album fucking pisses me off, dude. It's like, can you just shut the fuck up and get to the music, you know? Um, and again, Blind Guardian, I think, is another one of those bands too, where it's like the same formula when it comes to power metal bands. It's that same fast playing, fast drums, the same fucking, that you hear in most other bands. So it's like, what are you giving to me that's new? What are you giving to me that's innovative?
Yeah.
And I knew I was going to take shit over this, and I'm perfectly fine with it.
Yeah.
But fucking, for me, right off the bat, I'm gonna tell you straight up, I'm choosing fucking Hammerfall over this shit.
Okay. Okay. Spoilers. Okay.
Yep, big ass spoiler. Taking a big
Yeah.
shit all over this fucking album.
I'm guessing you don't have a favorite song, huh?
No. I mean, don't get me
Wow.
wrong. Again, I'm kind of being like outlandish here, but in all truth, in all fairness, it's the stupid ass spoken words that really did it for me, because it's just a turn off, man. Because you get
Yeah.
into a groove of the album, and then all of a sudden now
Right.
there's a spoken shit. Now we're going back, and I've never been a big fan of concept albums in general. Some bands have done good concept albums, some haven't.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I really can't pick a favorite song on this album, because I don't know. It just doesn't do anything for me. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Okay. So no good songs that you like, and then I'm guessing the worst song is all 22 of them.
The worst. No, see, now that's, shut up, Willie. That's not fair, motherfucker. I'm gonna throw you a fucking curveball and say that my least
Ooh.
favorite shit is this fucking spoken word. All of it.
Okay.
Get
So
rid of
half
it.
of the album. Okay.
Yes.
After
Yep.
Yeah, got it.
Yep. Don't need it. Get rid of it.
It's fair, it's fair. What about
I
you,
mean,
Arda?
Mirror though, like, it was
Yeah.
a fucking a video. I think there was a video for that song, right?
Yeah.
Mirror is not a bad song. You know what I mean? It's not. But it's your typical. This is the type of shit that I'm talking about when you think of power metal. This is the type of shit that you think of, like, people would think about power metal. It's again the same formula. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
Yeah.
if I heard one of them, I've heard them all. Kind of like the core shit with the breakdowns. If I've heard one breakdown, I've heard fucking them all. What are you
Right.
giving to me that's new,
Yeah.
different? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's just where I stand.
Okay. How about you, Ardo? Pick your favorite song, and then let's go ahead and do your worst favorite.
I'm gonna go with Mirror Mirror as my favorite one.
Okay.
Um,
Good choice.
it's really catchy.
Yeah.
The chorus is good. The worst one I'd probably go with When Sorrow Sang, to be honest.
Okay.
I feel like that
Yeah.
was kind of like like the word, like the least, my least favorite. It was
Yeah.
nothing crazy for me.
Okay. Okay. Very, very interesting. I think to like this album, you have to kind of you have to look at it at a artistic value rather than a typical power metal album, right? You have to think about this song or this album, anyways, of not just like 10 songs that's gonna hit you in the fucking face. It's 22 songs, but if you like you said, Nick, it's a very different art. And if you're not into power metal and you're not into the theme of it all, you're gonna hate it. You're
Yep.
gonna hate it. You will not like it
This is
at all.
definitely, I think, out of all the bands that we've covered on this list from 1988, I think that this is probably the hardest band for the general fan to get into, or not
Yeah.
even like a fan of like metal. Like if you're trying to like,
Just
you know,
anyone.
exactly. It's like
Mm.
if you had a new girlfriend, right, and you guys were comparing your guys' musical taste, and she didn't know shit about metal, and you try to bring her into power metal. This is not the album, and I don't think this is the band to do that. You need something
No.
a little bit more easier for somebody to digest, and I think that's like the problem with a lot of the power metal too, such as this is it's just
Yeah.
hard to get into.
Yeah. That makes sense. Me personally, Nightfall, track 4, is a phenomenal song.
Mhm.
This song is very easy to listen to, and it is fun. It's a fun power metal song. And if you're not a Blind Guardian fan, I think this song, if you had it on the background, you wouldn't complain. It might not be your favorite, but I think this song would be a fun song in the background if you don't like Blind Guardian or this album. It's still a good song. It is. For me to pick the worst, I'm gonna have to get this album tattooed on my ass because I don't have a worst song on this album. Me personally, I don't like lyrics really. I don't pay attention to it at all. This isn't like I don't go to fucking poetry cafes and listen to fucking spoken word. That's not my fucking shit. When I'm listening to music, I'm listening there for the musicianship, not what they're saying. And this is probably one of the first albums ever where I actually enjoy listening to what they're saying because I was involved into Tolkien, right? If you're a Tolkien fan and you don't know what power metal is, I think you should listen to this if you're a Tolkien fan, right? Because I think you might like it or you might fucking hate it. Who knows? But as a Tolkien fan, I really appreciated this album. So that's my take on it.
I mean, it makes sense, you know, it's what you're into and what you know look for, and if you find it with Blind Guardian in this album, then you know it's all
Yeah.
good. You know.
Yep. So Nick, you shat over this, so we know you're you're gonna pick Hammerfall. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm picking
Okay.
Hammerfall over this shit. Yep, and the metal community is gonna come after me hard for that, and I'm okay with that because fuck it, I don't care.
I think they're gonna agree with you more than you think.
I don't know. We got some weird ones out there. Like people that I saw some comments on people talking about the clip that you posted about Megadeth's fucking album cover for So Far So Good, and people were shitting on me for shitting on the cover, and I thought that was hilarious. So I don't know, man. We got some weird people out there who might say, "Oh my god, Blind Guardian is the best fucking band ever," and you just don't know what the fuck you're talking about, you know. So we'll see.
What you got, Eduardo? What's your pick?
I'm gonna go with what if I had to pick between the two, I'd go with Hammerfall.
Ooh, I did not expect that shit.
Yeah, like I said, like kind of like I mentioned, like I think this album was the hardest to kind of pick out of all of the ones that we did. And like I said, trust me, like I love like Lord of the Rings, like it's my favorite thing ever. Um, but in the concept of like power metal, the music, um, and everything, like I prefer Hammerfall's album over this one.
Okay.
That's the biggest shocker to me of all the fucking shit we've talked about in this show was that right there. I thought for sure Eduardo was going to pick. I thought I was going to be the lone one out on this one, to be honest with you.
Well, I have to pick Blind Guardian, of course.
Well, you lose anyway, so it don't matter.
I'll I'll be the odd one out. I love Hammerfall and I love that album. But I think as a whole and what I'm into and how I came across and viewed this album, I had to pick this as my favorite. But that don't matter because we have a winner on today's show, and the album that made it to the end and has beat Blind Guardian, Nightfall, and Middle Earth has been Hammerfall Legacy of Kings. Now, with that being said, out of all 5 of these albums, which one is actually your favorite? Nick, what you got?
If I had to pick one album out of all of these to go back and listen to, it might be Iced Earth, to be honest with you. Musically, it's in more of my direction. It's crunchier, it's heavier, it's riffier. If that's even a fucking word. But I would definitely go with Iced Earth. Now, I will say this: if this album, Blind Guardians shit album, if this went up against fucking Halloween's, I would have picked this album in a heartbeat over fucking Halloween. And
Okay.
again, I'm a Halloween fan. I enjoy
Yeah.
me some Halloween. But it's album twice, so shut up, people. But that album that Halloween put out sucked, and I think that album sucked way more than this album sucked. So, but I'm picking Iced Earth overall to answer your fucking question.
Okay. What about you, Arda? What was your favorite album between all 5?
Between all 5 of them, I mean, I guess I said it in the beginning. I'm gonna go with Ed Guy's album.
Yeah.
Just overall, like the lyrics, like his voice, like the whole, like Nick kind of said earlier, like the whole opera feel. And like I said, it's like, I mean, the recurring thing that we talked about this whole podcast is just like it's kind of like whatever theme you kind of just feel, and it's not just like as the band specific as a whole, but like sometimes it's just like specific theme on like whatever album they're doing from like whatever year that we can do this in.
Yeah.
And like out of these 5 that came out all in the same year, I'd pick Ed Guy.
Okay.
Now, Eduardo, let me ask you this: Tobias, the singer of Ed Guy, have you heard his other stuff in Avantasia?
I may have, but I don't remember, to be honest.
You should do yourself a favor and go back and listen to some of their albums. I think you'll appreciate it too that much more.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out now.
What about you, Willie? Is this Blind Guardian shit your overall pick?
So as a whole, as the totality of the album, right? As a whole, yes, Blind Guardian would be my first pick. Now, is this an album that I would go back and listen to often? I have to be in a mood for it. So probably not. I would probably pick Hammerfall as the album that I would go back the most and listen to out of all 5 of these. But yeah, as the album concept of it all, the totality of the album, yes, Blind Guardian would be it, but Hammerfall would be a very, very close second.
Okay, so we know overall of the crux of this show that we're picking Hammerfall as the best album from 1998, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but it's not your. What was it? What'd you say?
No, I just said Ed Guy.
Oh, right. That's what I'm saying. So, like, let me ask you guys this then: what would be your ranking list personally with these 5 albums? What would be first and what would be last, Eduardo?
Like this aside or whatever.
Yeah,
As
like your own personal,
like year, but okay, yeah.
Yeah, your personal choice.
I'd pick I would do Ed Guy, Hammerfall, Blind Guardian, Iced Earth, and then Halloween.
Wow, Ice Earth was really down that list. Okay,
Yeah. And it
interesting. Willie?
sucks because, like I said, like the songs that I really like in Ice Earth, I really do. And then I don't know why, just like some of the songs I'm just not like
Sold on?
particularly fond of, which is kind of weird. But so that's
Yeah.
like the only reason why. But like Ice Earth is like top one of the like top bands
Mm-hmm.
for me. But
Willie, what about you?
I probably cheated and kind of already told it, but Nightfall number 1, Blind Guardian. Number 2 would be Hammerfall, Legacy of Kings. Number 3 would be Edguy being Glory Opera. Number 4 would be Iced Earth. And then number 5 is Better Than Raw from Halloween.
So you see, we're all different on our list completely because my top 5 would be Hammerfall, Iced Earth, Edguy, Blind Guardian, and then the Halloween album would be. So
Yep.
we're all different. That's interesting.
It is interesting. That's what I'm saying. Like you might know somebody's musical taste because you all love the same bands, but when you put them in a ranking, when you put them against, one another, you really don't.
Yep.
I had a question because Willie, you mentioned you're not like much of when it comes to music. I don't know if you just meant power metal in general, but you said you weren't much of like a lyric guy when you listen to it. So I'm curious, like Nick, is that the same for you? Do you kind of like don't really care much about lyrics or?
Um, I don't necessarily care about how can I put this? Because I was a fucking vocalist for the longest time too. So obviously I would have to care about the lyrics and whatnot.
This being
But
said,
I'm more of a fan of the music first. If the music gets me, then I'm hooked more so than if I heard like a certain like lyric or a certain theme, you know what I mean, to a song. The music has to get me first overall, but as far as the lyrics go, just as long as it's not a fucking cheesy ass love song and fucking uh some core shit, I'm good with it. You know what I mean?
hmm, okay.
What about
I'm
you?
just curious. Um, I'd kind of say I'm a little bit of both. Like it has to sound good, but it's not so much care about like what they say specifically, or what the song might be specifically about, but um, like I do pay attention a lot to like the actual lyrics and stuff. Like I
You
like,
see, it's funny that you say that too because I made fun of a song one time by I don't even know, dude. It was like Def Leppard or some shit, and
mm,
it was like some song about love and shit, right? And then my wife corrected me, and she was like, "Well, you listen to Cradle of the Filth," and I'm like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Well, Cradle of the Filth is a lot of love songs, or that
that's
that
funny.
shit." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Well, I didn't think about it in that context." So I'm like, "Well, the fucking music got me, not the fucking the cheesy lyrics or whatever the
Lyrics.
fuck." So it's always the music first. I think with me is what hooks me to begin with.
Mm, yeah, I was just curious, just because I mean I didn't know that about Willie, and then knowing that you were like a formal vocalist, I kind of wanted to see if because of that reason you kind of
Right.
kind of gravitated towards that too. But
That's an interesting question. I like that question.
Yeah, I really don't give a fuck what they're saying in any song. If I wanted to know what you're saying, like I would be at a poetry cafe listening to someone talking rhymes, but I'm not, right? It's just not my thing. You could be talking about whatever the fuck you want to talk about, but if the music sucks, the music sucks.
We're gonna get so much shit on for this fucking show, bro, by
mm,
like, all different sorts of communities. I can't wait for it.
I'm excited.
probably.
I love the heat. Bring the heat.
I'm actually,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm curious to see what other people's opinions are about this.
right. We're gonna
For
we're all
sure.
over the place on this one. I like it.
Well, folks, I'm gonna have Nick close us out, but I hope you all enjoyed this 1998 power metal album battle that we just had.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I get into all the good stuff, Eduardo, I just want to say thanks for jumping on with us, man. This was fun. Thanks for being our first guest, and hopefully you enjoyed yourself on the show as well, dude.
Oh yeah, it was fun. I appreciate you guys inviting me on to this. Kind of let my opinions out and stuff like that, which is really cool.
Hell yeah.
So I appreciate you guys.
Absolutely, man. So yeah, so to close this out, just want to say we got the X account, we got the Instagram account. You follow us Riffs and Wrestling on those accounts right here on YouTube, Spotify as well. Just hit that like button, hit that share button, and if you wouldn't mind, drop a comment. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Whatever your opinion is fine. Just let us know in the comment section what's on your mind. We really appreciate all the feedback that we get, good, bad, or otherwise. But with that being said, folks, I am Nick. That's Willie. That's Eduardo. This is Riffs and Rasslin. And until next time, guys, we'll catch you down the road.
Peace out.